taxi vlog 272, I think. And it's Thursday. It's a nice sunny Thursday, one of those nice autumn days before the weather gets really awful. We had a few colder nights just happening lately. And usually I do these on Friday, and usually I do it in a taxi, but I don't know, if you've ever vlogged, you sometimes get a strong urge to vlog. I know, I watch some people who have that urge, and I had it today. Because the events of the last couple nights were, I guess, memorable. Or maybe they weren't so memorable that I'd remember them tomorrow. Monday night I came out, and it looked quiet. There wasn't a lot of traffic, there wasn't a lot of anything, but I kept getting these calls. And they were good calls, and they were steady. There was one right after another. Well, maybe not quite one right after another, but it was steady. And I guess it had been quiet enough over the weekend that I was able to watch all the YouTube that I was subscribed to. All on Monday night. And made myself $150. Can't go wrong. At 2 o'clock, all the other cabs were lined up at the gas pump, and I was still working. I had, you know, there's always one car that has all the luck on a slow night, and I guess Monday night was my turn. I needed the money anyway. So, Tuesday. I came out on Tuesday, and oh, by the way, I hope I've cured that problem with the sound. I just put a checkbook between the camera and the mirror. And you know, sometimes you put the camera there and it doesn't make any noise. Other times you do and it does make noise. And you've recorded 15 minutes of vlog that, well, it's recorded. You don't have to say it again. I think I'm distracting myself. Tuesday, I waited about an hour and a half for my first call. And I think I waited an hour and a half for my second call. And the whole night was so slow. So slow that I finished reading the book I was reading. And since it was an old book that I got from the used bookstore, it ended up on the floor even though it was Jack Williamson. The rabbits like chewing old books. So the night was so slow, and after waiting 2 hours and a bit, I think 2.5 hours, at a few minutes to 4 in the morning, I got a call to Denny's. It said the guy was waiting in the back parking lot. So I got to the back parking lot, there was nobody there. The dispatcher had neglected to leave me a phone number at which I could call this person. So I just put myself back up and sat there. Sat there and waited a few minutes, and these people came running around the Denny's into the back parking lot. And I took him home. I took him to High Douglas, 4000 block. And as soon as I cleared my meter, the meter went off again, or the MDT went off again. And it sent me to an address that really wasn't all that far away, but it was a time call for 15 minutes later. So a 4:20 time call. And I went there, saw some lady coming out with bags, traveling, you know, luggage. And then she looked at me and said, "No, it's not me." Oh, okay. I waited a little longer, and then a guy came out with a couple of bags, and it was him. He went to the airport for $55 and saved my night. It was all Interac, so it was all applied to the next, that lease and the next lease. I had a lot of Interac on Monday night, so that all the money I made after that, all the cash, I got to take home. I had some overs from last week from the last 2 weeks actually, that the owner of the cab owed me. And so I applied those towards bills. A lot of bills. I got bills and I got all kinds of things. And 1st of October is the first day that I can book my vacation on the beach next year, and I want a specific campsite, and they open up on the 1st of October for reserving. So I want to reserve. I want to have some money on my prepaid card so that I can reserve. So that I can reserve some camping for July next year. We're not going to do a big vacation, I don't think. I just want to be on the beach a few days. Yeah. So I went home tired, and I had a couple of beers and went straight to sleep. It's getting harder to wake up now. I was under my lamp for 40 minutes today because seasonal affective disorder has got that melatonin in my brain just pumping. Last night I came to work and it was also really slow. I started reading a new book. This one is called Julian Comstock by Robert Charles Wilson. It says on the back of the book that it's like Margaret Atwood meets the Wild Wild West. I've read 90 pages of it already last night, just because things were not moving. And they were good 90 pages. I had watched all the YouTube by around 10 o'clock that I was subscribed to, and then some. Seems like YouTube's slow this week, just like business. So last night was slow again. And for some reason, after midnight, I think it got a little better. I think all the other cabs went home and left the end for me. There was one point around, I think it was 1 o'clock, I had been waiting for over an hour, and I think I just got my lease on. So I waited, and I got sent to an address with a phone number. It was an apartment building. I got there. We called the number, nobody answered, but I waited a few minutes anyway. And 3 boys came out of the elevator. And window lobby that I could see from the road. And they got in my car. They give me a destination downtown. I start to go there. We hadn't gone 2 blocks when the guy in the front seat reached over and turned the radio on and turned it up real loud. Now I reached the volume control and I turned it down. I said, that's too loud. I can't concentrate on driving with that noise in here. He said, you're kidding, right? You're shitting me. No, I'm not shitting you. That annoys me. You're full of shit, he said. You must blast that thing all the time when there's nobody in the car. And that's when I pulled over to the side of the road. I was about to say, get out. But 2 things were going on in the back of my mind. And maybe another hour and a half before I get another call. And this is not such a bad trip. Then he asked me, well, why did you stop? I said, it's about respect. You're not showing me any. Of course, this went right over his head. He didn't seem to get that. I said, you could have asked me. It's very simple. Here's how you do it. You say, may I play the radio? And then I would have given you a response. I would have said something like, as long as you don't play it too loud. But no, you did not do that. All you did was reach for the switch and turn the fucking thing on too loud for me. You get it? And he said to me, who do you work for? I said, I work for myself. He says, well, what's it say on the side of the car? I said, it says Victoria Taxi. And he says, so what am I supposed to do? I said, you can do whatever you want. Anything you want. You can, oh, pedestrian. You can do anything you want. He was going to complain to my boss. I could have stopped the car again, but he was behaving somewhat. And you know, as soon as we were getting closer to our destination, he got more mouthy, and he says, you know, you're really stressed, you got a problem, you're gripping that steering wheel awful hard. Look at you, you're tense, it's like, I just felt like, you know, punching him. I felt like swatting him in the head as hard as I could, but I didn't. I just held on to the steering wheel. And we were getting to our destination. And one of the guys in the back said, oh, just pull over here. So he was getting the money together, while the fucking kid in the front was getting more and more mouthy and more disrespectful, and his other friend was pulling him out of the car, and he got even worse and worse and worse. He was saying like, well, I hope you have a good life with your driving around people in your little car. At that point, I had the money in my hand. They were all gone. They were out of the car. The door was still hanging open, but I just pulled out of there with a little chirp of my tires and said, fuck off. I could have just, when I pulled over, he's telling me, after I pulled over, you know, what are you doing pulling over like a maniac like that? And I said, if I was to pull over like a maniac, I would have driven into that post there. The last thing you want to do is offend or annoy the driver. Fuck. Where do these people, who brought them up? Anyway, it took me about half an hour to calm down from that one. And fortunately, there were no calls for a while. And after all, it was a full moon. You know, I had another call. I got sent to a shopping mall and I picked up these two girls. One of them sounded like she was from New Zealand, but not quite. And then about 5 hours later, I had another call from a donut shop which was closed. And they gave me the same address as those two girls did at the beginning. And she says, "Do you know the way there?" And I said, "Yeah, I've been there already tonight." She said, "No, you kidding? What did he look like?" I said, "Oh, it was two girls." "Oh yeah, it must have been my roommates," she said. I said, "Yeah, and one was putting on one of them sounded like she was from New Zealand." "Oh really? That's gotta be Carrie." I said, "That was fake, wasn't it?" She said, "Yeah." She was trying to sound English. I said, "Well, that didn't sound English to me. It was more like New Zealand or South African or something." So what are the chances of that on a really slow night, getting two fares that end up at the same house, of all the houses in the city? And late in the night, well, around 3-ish, I got another $20-something fare, which helped my cause tremendously. And then 2 hours, I think it was 2 hours I waited at the end and didn't get a call. Anyways, I felt like vlogging today. I think I'll finish this tomorrow and get back to you, tell you how the night went, or how tonight and tomorrow night. Maybe I'll come back in the morning today, tell you what that was like. I'll be there soon.
Walking down the street as big as life. And when he says, "My dear, I'd like to have you meet my wife," say,
Okay, 6 a.m. 6 a.m. I worked all night. And at the beginning, it was kind of quiet, and I was doing about one trip an hour till about midnight. And I guess around that time, around midnight or so, I had my lease on and maybe a bit of gas money, and it was kind of disappointing. Then, I don't know what happened, but after midnight I started to get busier, and between midnight and 4, I did like $40 an hour. So, you know, that's good. And one peculiarity is that I picked up a girl tonight, and she went to the same house where those two other fares went last night. The one with the fake accent. The same house. I had one repeat customer from from a couple weeks ago, and she was happy to get me again because it was a good ride last time. I had one drug run in the morning, and I was reminded of that really terrible fare the night before. But the guy got in and he asked me can we play the radio? And I said, well, fine, yeah, as long as it's not too loud. Then it wasn't too loud, but it was still annoying. When I'm at work, I don't know, I like to concentrate on just driving. I don't want to have to be distracted by noises. Horrible bad music that I can't stand. So yeah, the night started out as a real dud, but it ended up being quite successful. And I can see the first bits of daylight ahead of me. The sky is a lighter shade of gray, or almost a shade of blue. And it's getting lighter up ahead. Not much else to say really, except I guess I'll be back tomorrow. This is Friday morning, and I'm just tired right now. What I gotta do is park this thing. I should sign off, actually. Oh, it's trying to give me a call. Well, you know what? I don't want to do it. There, I rejected that. Gas station is opening up in 2 minutes, and that's it. That's enough. Okay. Book 990. That's the code for shutting off. And there it is. I'm off. I'm off the air. I'm off. I'm just gonna park and go do my exercises for my back. I'm gonna go into this place where I go on these machines and do exercises. And once I've done that, I will go home. I will have dinner. And then after dinner, no, you don't pass me. Fuck off. We'll go home and have dinner. See, now 6 o'clock is when the traffic starts coming out again. And it's like, I don't want to deal with this bullshit. This is why I didn't take that last call. There's nobody on the car after me this morning, so that's okay. But I don't want to play in traffic, especially with cars trying to pass me and cars trying to cut me off. I don't need this bullshit. I'll get to you tomorrow morning and tell you how the Friday went. Oh, okay. It's Saturday morning, 5:30, and I just had a really good night. Just dropped off at the airport, so I had an airport at the end of my shift. The way the night started, I got to the owner's place and he wasn't back yet, and I waited about 15 minutes till he came in. It's all good, no big deal. When he finally showed up, he finally showed up, and he told me that it was so brutal that it took him 35 minutes to do a distance that would normally take about 4 minutes. Just because traffic was backed up and snarled, and they got too many traffic lights, and the streets are too... They have like one lane in each direction, and it just backlogs everything. And Victoria is not very well planned out for, to handle traffic. And every time they change anything, they make it worse and make traffic more encumbered rather than flowing. So he wanted to book me in and give me a call right away, and I said, no, it's okay, I'll take my time. So it was alright. As soon as I got going, I had a call, and the guy went to a pub, and then I went into my little parking lot where I usually sit and wait for something to happen. And I sat for about half an hour, or not even, maybe 20 minutes. I was reading the book, I think I mentioned already, Julian Comstock, Robert Charles Wilson. Fantastic book. I'm enjoying this one a lot. It's a very good story. Most enjoyable book. Love it. Okay. And I got a call and picked up this little old lady. She was going to the casino. And as we're going along, she said, why did you go this way? I said, well, because there's fewer lights and fewer turns this way. She says, well, I always go that way and that way and that way and that way and that way. Oh, okay, sorry. She said, I'm trying to keep the cost down to $25 or $26 to get to the casino. I said, all right. Anyway, we got out there, and it was $24.35. So I didn't do anything wrong. I got her there under the amount that she wanted to pay anyway. So I got $25 for that. And immediately when I dropped her off, I got another call. I had to look up the address in the map book here, because I didn't know where Cotton was spelt with a Y. Anyway, found it. Found the girl, and she was going right back to Cedar Hill Cross in Saanich with a stop at a liquor store, so it ended up being like a $35 fare. So I made $25 out, $35 back in. I had $60 on already, plus the $10 to take the guy to the pub, $70. Then I had another $25 fare. First hour and a half, I had $90 on. Wonderful. The rest of the night for a Friday was quite steady. It wasn't really busy. It wasn't stressful. It wasn't hyper. It was just steady. It was steady all night, and I did read a few pages of this book, don't get me wrong, and I did enjoy reading some pages of it, but it was a nice pace, you know. I could read for 10-15 minutes, get a call. Read for 10-15 minutes, get a call. And do that repeatedly. And in that way, it worked out very well. For a Friday, this was one of the more pleasant Fridays I've had in a long time. And then just when I was getting tired of picking up stragglers from the night, I got sent to an address in the adjacent zone from the zone where I normally work. Okay, I accepted it. When I got there, I saw the guy coming out with luggage. So I ended up going out to the airport. It's been pretty good. All in all, I'm satisfied with the night. I made enough money to get some groceries and take Cindy out for dinner. Maybe I can even afford a 6-pack of beer. Yeah. End of the month, a bit of a crunch, but we'll get through it. We'll be all right. Let's get past this big ugly here. Anyway, I guess I've said all I was going to say. The week ended out all right. Hope yours is better than mine.